With this recording, we are going to finish up Act 5 of Romeo and Juliet using myshakespeare.com. So let's set the scene. Friar Lawrence has arrived at the tomb and he's about to enter the tomb looking for Romeo. He knows Romeo is there. We know as an audience that he drank poison, he's killed himself. Tybalt is in there dead. Paris has been killed. We've got 3 bodies surrounding Juliet, who is about to wake up. And Friar Lawrence has got to figure out what to do with this entire situation. Also, we know that Paris's page ran off to get the authorities. So we have some officers on their way to the tomb as well. Let's take a listen.
Romeo! Alack, alack, what blood is this which stains the stony entrance of this sepulchre? What mean these masterless and gory swords to lie discolored by this place of peace? Romeo! Oh, pale. Who else? What, Paris too? And steeped in blood? Oh, what an unkind hour is guilty of this lamentable chance. The lady stirs.
Oh, comfortable friar, where is my lord? I do remember well where I should be, and there I am. Where is my Romeo?
I hear some noise. Lady, come from that nest of death, contagion, and unnatural sleep. A greater power than we can contradict hath thwarted our intents. Come, come away. Thy husband in thy bosom there lies dead, and Paris too. Come, I'll dispose of thee among a sisterhood of holy nuns. Stay not to question, for the watch is coming. Come, go, good Juliet. I dare no longer stay.
So Friar Lawrence, I get really upset with him at this point. I have to be honest with you, okay? He says to Juliet, things have gone wrong. Your husband, Romeo, is dead. Paris is dead too. So she has no husband, she has no fiance, and he says to her, I will put you in a sisterhood of holy nuns. So he's going to send her off to become a nun. And he says, you better watch out because the authorities are coming too. So come on, let's get out of here. I am leaving. All right. And we're going to see in just a minute that Juliet says, you go away. I will not stay. And this is the part that bothers me. Juliet is a 13-year-old girl. Friar Lawrence is a grown man. And he's like, your husband's dead. Your fiance's dead. I'm going to have you become a nun. Juliet isn't thinking right. She was just in like a coma for a couple of days. And he runs away. I think he could have easily grabbed her, thrown her over his shoulder, and taken her out so that she was in a safe spot. But he doesn't do that, and it upsets me every time I read this. Let's see what happens with Juliet. Although we know what happens, let's see how it unfolds.
Go, get thee hence, for I will not away. What's here? A cup closed in my true love's hand. Poison, I see, hath been his timeless end. O churl, drunk all, and left no friendly drop to help me after. I will kiss thy lips. Haply some poison yet doth hang on them to make me die with a restorative. Thy lips are warm.
So Juliet tries the poison. There is none left. She tries to kiss his lips. Maybe there's a little poison left there. There's none left. So she has to find another way to sadly commit suicide.
Lead, boy. Which way?
Yea, noise? Then I'll be brief. O happy dagger, this is thy sheath. There rust, and let me die.
So we see Juliet takes Romeo's dagger. She stabs herself, which is very difficult to do, and she dies right there on Romeo's body. So we've got Tybalt dead, Romeo dead, Paris dead, Juliet dead. There's going to be one more coming up, just to let you know. Let's keep going.
This is the place, there where the torch doth burn. The ground is bloody. Search about the churchyard. Go, some of you, whoe'er you find attach. Pitiful sight. Here lies the county slain, and Juliet bleeding warm and newly dead, who here hath lain these 2 days buried. Go, tell the prince, run to the Capulets, raise up the Montagues, some others search. We see the ground whereon these woes do lie, but the true ground of all these piteous woes we cannot without circumstance descry.
So we're going to see the public is going to start arriving, including the prince, the Montagues, and the Capulets.
Here's Romeo's man. We found him in the churchyard.
Hold him in safety till the prince come hither.
Here is a friar that trembles, sighs, and weeps. We took this mattock and the spade from him as he was coming from this churchyard side.
A great suspicion. Stay the friar too.
What misadventure is so early up that calls our person from our morning rest?
Now, I want to remind you, the prince is married to Paris. So the prince has lost 2 kinsmen, 2 cousins, you could say. He has lost Mercutio and Paris in this nonstop feud between the Capulets and Montagues.
What should it be that is so shrieked abroad?
The people in the street cry Romeo, some Juliet, and some Paris, and all run with open outcry toward our monument.
What fear is this which startles in your ears?
Sovereign, here lies the county Paris slain, and Romeo dead and Juliet dead before, warm and new killed.
Search, seek, and know how this foul murder comes.
Here is a friar and slaughtered Romeo's man, with instruments upon them fit to open these dead men's tombs.
O heavens! O wife! Look how our daughter bleeds. This dagger hath mista'en, for lo, his house is empty on the back of Montague, and it missheathed in my daughter's bosom.
Oh me, this sight of death is as a bell that warns my old age to a sepulchre.
Come, Montague, for thou art early up to see thy son and heir more early down.
Alas, my liege, my wife is dead tonight. Grief of my son's exile hath stopped her breath.
So we see that Romeo's mother has also died. She was so upset that Romeo was exiled that she died. All right, so I think she's the last one to die in the play.
What further woe conspires against mine age?
Look, and thou shalt see.
Oh, thou untaught! What manners is in this, to press before thy father to a grave?
Seal up the mouth of outrage for a while, till we can clear these ambiguities and know their spring, their head, their true descent. And then will I be general of your woes, and lead you even to death. Meantime forbear, and let mischance be slave to patience. Bring forth the parties of suspicion. I am the greatest, able to do least, yet most suspected, as the time and place doth make against me of this direful murder. And here I stand, both to impeach and purge, myself condemned and myself excused. Then say at once what thou dost know in this.
So Friar Lawrence is going to give the whole story.
I will be brief, for my short date of breath is not so long as is a tedious tale. Romeo, there dead, was husband to that Juliet, and she, there dead, that Romeo's faithful wife. I married them, and their stolen marriage day was Tybalt's doomsday, whose untimely death banished the new-made bridegroom from this city, for whom, and not for Tybalt, Juliet pined. You, to remove that siege of grief from her, betrothed, and would have married her perforce to County Paris. Then comes she to me, and with wild looks bid me devise some mean to rid her from this second marriage, or in my cell there would she kill herself. Then gave I her, so tutored by my art, a sleeping potion, which so took effect as I intended, for it wrought on her the form of death. Meantime, I writ to Romeo that he should hither come, as this dire night, to help to take her from her borrowed grave, being the time the potion's force should cease. But he which bore my letter, Friar John, was stayed by accident, and yesternight returned my letter back. Then, all alone, at the prefixed hour of her waking, came I to take her from her kindred's vault, meaning to keep her closely at my cell till I conveniently could send to Romeo. But when I came, some minute ere the time of her awaking, here untimely lay the noble Paris and true Romeo, dead. She wakes, and I entreated her come forth, and bear this work of heaven with patience. But then a noise did scare me from the tomb, and she, too desperate, would not go with me, but, as it seems, did violence on herself. All this I know, and to the marriage her nurse is privy. And if aught in this miscarried by my fault, let my old life be sacrificed some hour before his time unto the rigor of severest law. We still have known thee for a holy man. Where's Romeo's man? What can he say to this?
So we see Friar Lawrence. He gives the whole description of everything that happened and his part in it as well. And it seems like Friar Lawrence could have prevented a lot of these terrible things from happening. And the prince says, we still have known thee for a holy man. So you're a holy man. Don't worry about it, which I find kind of odd. So Friar Lawrence is completely forgiven. And let's find out what happens with the end of the play.
I brought my master news of Juliet's death, and then in post he came from Mantua, to this same place, to this same monument. This letter he early bid me give his father, and threatened me with death, going in the vault, if I departed not, and left him there.
Give me the letter. I will look on it. Where's the county's page that raised the watch? Sirrah, what made your master in this place?
He came with flowers to strew his lady's grave, and bid me stand aloof, and so I did. Anon comes one with light to ope the tomb, and by my master drew on him, and then I ran away to call the watch. So
the prince is interrogating everybody about what happened. He gets the information from the friar. He gets information from the page. He actually gets a letter from Romeo that Balthazar delivered. And the prince reads the letter and says, you know what? The letter gives the same story that the friar gave. Let's keep listening.
This letter doth make good the friar's words, the course of love, the tidings of her death. And here he writes that he did buy a poison of a poor apothecary, and therewithal came to this vault to die, and lie with Juliet. Where be these enemies? Capulet? Montague? See what a scourge is laid upon your hate, that heaven finds means to kill your joys with love. And I, for winking at your discords too, have lost a brace of kinsmen. All are punished.
So we see the prince says all are punished, and they all are. Okay, we see the Capulets and the Montagues. Their children are both dead. And the prince says that he is also to blame because he let this go on for too long. And the prince says he's to blame and he was punished with the death of his kinsman, Mercutio in Paris. So everyone is punished. Now let's hear Capulet and Montague. They're actually going to make up. Sadly, the only way to end this fight is the death of these two kids.
O brother Montague, give me thy hand, This is my daughter's jointure, for no more can I demand.
But I can give thee more, for I will raise her statue in pure gold, that while Verona by that name is known, there shall no figure at such rate be set as that of true and faithful Juliet.
As rich shall Romeo's by his ladies lie, poor sacrifices of our enmity. A glooming peace this morning with it brings. The sun for sorrow will not show his head. Go hence to have more talk of these sad things. Some shall be pardoned, and some punished. For never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.
So we see Montague and Capulet, they make up with each other, okay? They become friends and they apologize for what happens. And Lord Montague says he is going to build a statue of pure gold of Juliet, okay? He's going to do that in honor of Capulet's daughter. And Capulet will do the same. He's going to raise a statue of Romeo. So they're going to do this in honor of their children now that this feud is over. And at the end, we see some are punished. Yes, we see the Capulets are punished with the death of Juliet. We see the Montague and Tybalt, we see the Montagues are punished with the death of Romeo and possibly Lady Montague. And we see the prince is also punished with the deaths of Mercutio and of Paris. Some are pardoned, though. We see Friar Lawrence, nothing happens with him. We see the nurse, who is kind of part of this whole secret situation, nothing happens with her. But sadly, people are dead, people are punished, terrible things happen. And it is a tragedy. So this shows quite a few tragic events, sadly, that probably could have been prevented if some other choices were made. So thanks for listening to Romeo and Juliet. I hope this helped with your understanding of things. And everybody take care and be well.